Welcome back to another edition of AEW Dynamite Out of 10. This was another superstar show thanks to the extra hour provided by Aewcollision, and AEW made sure to address a lot of what happened on the pay-per-view, including MJF celebrating becoming champ and some big matches including Jericho v Ricochet, Shida v Stat, etc, etc. But we started things off with Will Ospreay having a quick interview backstage before heading into the trainer's room. He ran into Kenny Omega, who tried to talk to him about working with the Death Riders. When he went live to the arena, Knight came to the ring to talk about why he turned on Darby at Double or Nothing. The crowd wasn't happy to see him and chanted several things at him. He said Alan let him down losing to MJF and noted how he was the last one to beat MJF. The Gents tag partner Mike Bailey came out to confront him. Knight ended up taking him out with a running forearm strike. He looked like he regretted it for a moment, but then he picked Speedball up for a Uranagi. The crowd gave Knight a ton of heat, but this was a promo pretty paint by numbers. He gave exactly the kind of explanation we all expected and did seem a bit flustered at times. Before we moved on to Ricochet and Lamar giving a quick interview backstage about the match he was about to have with Jericho. White AJ had the crowd cheering for him until Ricochet took him down to get the action started. He dropped Jericho on the announce table and tried to suplex him on top of it, but the former world champ turned it into a lion tamer for a few moments. Jericho's team came out ahead of Sunday, but Ricochet held 3 previous wins over him, so it felt like he needed this win to put the feud to bed. Ricochet can obviously run circles around YTJ at this point in his career, but they did a good job making it look like he could keep up with the leader of demand. He learned into being the underdog against the wily veteran, as he has been for most of his AEW runs a heel. Aubrey Edmonds almost got caught in the crossfire and allowed Ricochet to hit a low blow, but he still couldn't get the win. They made the last couple of moments the most exciting part of the match. Jericho scored the win with the Judas effect, followed by a Lion's Heart, and Chamampa came out afterwards to attack him, so we know what's next for him, which could be intriguing. As we then moved on to Roosh versus Brian Cage versus Cassidy versus Leo Rush in a Super Station Showcase 4-way, and the match had a little bit of everything. Roosh is the striker, Cage is the powerhouse, Leo's the high flyer and OC technician. The things that allowed them to mesh their styles is that all 4 guys are very versatile. Cage was especially valuable in this bout because he's deceptively quick and had a play a great base for everyone else high flying offense. He could probably lift all 3 of his opponents if he wanted to. This was fun. Definitely lived up to its showcase name by giving the competitors ample opportunity to show off. Rocky Lance Doyle attacked and carried OC away from the match. Toro Bronco ended up scoring a win with a pin over Blackheart. And yeah, overall let's get 7 out of 10. Good stuff. But more we moved on to MJF, who ran into Knight backstage and thanked him for what he did to Alan, but the Jet assured him that he's still coming after the world title. When he came out for his celebration, the new champ was carried on a throne by 4 guys, dropped the normal AEW title into the trash can at ringside because he had a new version of the Triple B instead. He gave his usual speech about being the best and bragged about being a 3-time champ by the age of 30. He did not look happy when Mark Briscoe showed up and tore his banner down. The Chicken said he had pinned MJF before and wants a title shot. MJF turned him down and tried to leave, but Roosh came out and said he isn't fighting champ. MJF agreed to face him next week. This is a solid segment. Having multiple people chasing the new champ right out of the gate makes the title scene feel more active. So yeah, good stuff. We then got Claudio Castagnoli taking on Brady King in the Owen Hart tournament. These 2 each have a singles victory over the other, so it serves as a bit of a rubber. Both these men can be described as powerhouses, but they do it in different ways. King's more of a brawler, while Claudio is more technical in his approach. This felt like a lot of hard-fought match with a lot of heavy strikes. Castagnoli came close, but King prevailed, advancing in the tournament. And yeah, overall, pretty fun match. And yeah, gets 7 out of 10 from me. I think it's probably the right result here. Before the next segment involved Cope and Cage, and they were greeted by chants of "You deserve it." Cage told them to sit down and shut up, but Copeland told him to enjoy the moment. Cage put over FTR as one of the best teams to do it, and Copeland said they were dumb enough to agree to an I Quit match. Copeland handed out a bunch of disposable cameras with flashes to fans around the ring. Before they could do their page, Finlay and Clark Connors attacked them from behind. A pretty entertaining segment here, but the attack at the end is what made it interesting. Finlay and Connors are definitely perfect, I think, first challenges for new champions. I think when we eventually get that match down the line, that could be really, really fun as well. So yeah, good stuff here. Tay Mello and MJ were in action against Ava Everett and Ali Catch. Much like Divine Dominion's recent matches, this was designed to get contracted talents over by giving a quick win. While it's great to see effort being put into the women's tag division, continuing to have such short matches is not going to help it grow. Tay J got an easy win in less than 2 minutes. Before we moved on to the second Owen Hart tournament match to take place, with Davis taking on Jack Perry. Dunkzilla took control as soon as the match started, but Perry went after his injured eye to even the score. He even stole the eye patch and wore it for a bit. The match was mostly Davis dominating while Perry kept making short comebacks. It felt one-sided most of the time, which played into Perry's underdog quality. There was a lot of time given to this, so they were able to make this fight feel competitive. Perry put up a good fight, but Davis was too much for him in the end. And yeah, like I say, a pretty fun match. I thought Perry would advance, to be fair, but yeah, no issues with Davis at all. He's having a decent run at the moment. So yeah, overall, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. As we then moved on to the next match, which was Will Ospreay and Death Riders versus the Rascals. Fletch came out after Davis got his victory. He said he's fully cleared to compete again after he made it clear he was coming for Takeshita. When Takeshita showed up, he had the conglomeration as backup. Next up was Ospreay teaming up with John Moxley Impact to take on Wentz, Xavier and Myron Reed. Ospreay didn't know Mox Impact were going to jump their opponent, so he ended up trading takedowns with Xavier. Once everyone was out of the ring, the aerial assassin spent a lot of time being isolated from his teammates, but he was finally able to break a hot tag after the break. All three members of the Rascals ended up in submissions, which led to Ospreay and the Death Riders coming away with a victory, and I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Next up, it was time for Andrade Alide putting out an open challenge. It was answered by Ace Austin. The match wasn't hyped ahead of time and felt pretty random addition to the card, but nobody's going to complain about getting to watch these two performers work. Even though there was a quick fun contest, it felt like the time should have been allocated to the main event street fight, especially because the other women's match on the card was so short. Austin had a good showing, but Andrade put him away with his finisher to get the win. So yeah, overall I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I think it was a pretty fun match. Before we moved on to the final match between Sheila and Stat, and it didn't even get started until the show was supposed to be over, so it's hard to tell how much they would get since it was all in overtime. Stat avoided shots from Kendo Stick before taking her friend down. Sheila was the first to use the weapon successfully when she stole a chair from Stat and hit her in the gut with it. They fought to the backstage area and used whatever they could to inflict damage. We returned from the final commercial to see Stat hit a suplex onto a pile of chairs. This might not have been as bloody as AEW matches of this kind, but they took a lot of bumps and incorporated several different weapons, including a bunch of light tubes. So yeah, Stat was bleeding from her back after being hit with light tubes, but that didn't stop her from putting Sheila through the table over Tombstone. Once she put Sheila in the ring, she hit her finisher for the hard-fought win. And yeah, really fun match. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And overall, Dynamite was a solid show from top to bottom, but there was one major complaint to be had. The way the women's division has been booked in recent months has been a big set down from where it was at the beginning of the year. 2 matches across 3 hours is bad enough, but when one of them is less than 2 minutes long, it's an even bigger issue. Stat and Sheila did a great job closing out the show with their street fight, but we didn't get any updates on the TBS title situation or hear about the world champion who's just successfully defending their title. There's lots to like on the show, but yeah, I think AEW kind of needs to refocus its women's division going forward. So that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.